Kinky, 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 we love it, yes it's true. And now here's Reverend Mel to be kinky with you. Hey!
Some people who consider themselves doms or masters and really listen to their definitions of what they would want, from a slave. And, I've just learned that me personally, I am not slave wired. Mm-hmm. That's just not it. And, I kept a very open mind and listening. And, some of the things I heard were very shocking, and it was almost, some of it was very kind of insulting, like as if, And it's all fine and good. And I think the major thing in the learning, the watching and all that, I did a lot of that. And, just asking those questions and not being afraid to say, well, why do you think that, or why, kind of challenging the authority. And I'm a little bit of a brat, and I want to know why, what's going on.
Snert.
Yeah, totally. And, and having the freedom to do that, and I just, have to say I really appreciate, the time that people have really taken to talk to me about different things and respected the moments that I discerned, well, really not my thing, and I retain the right to do that. And I think that's one of the things that is very empowering to me about this lifestyle, is the fact that I can redefine and recreate and sort of, mold myself into what is comfortable for me.
So you think that a person, the individual defines if they're either a dominant or a master? You think that they have the ability to put that label on themselves.
They can. I guess, and I think everyone, I think it has to have the respect of what people will kind of, call themselves and what degree they want to take it. It's such a shade of gray, and then, I mean, to me, a dominant or a master is someone who completely has control of their person, dictates everything in their life, whatever it is. And then, with the understanding that obviously the slave is like totally down with it and it's all good. And they're getting something out of it, and it's mutually beneficial. And then, from a dominance perspective, where it's, you're definitely in control of the scene, and there's that connection and all of that with the submissive, and that's fine. But it's still a choice thing. There's no choice, I think, in the slave part, right? I don't know. I'm just sort of paraphrasing, and from whatever. And then the top-bottom thing is that it's okay. You're in that position during that scene, but then you go back to like being more level, and I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. People are chewing me apart in that.
What are you laughing about over there?
I just know it. I've been in that chat room. The sharks are in the water.
Look on her face.
It was more that they were. Hang on, wait.
There, and my mic's back on. I turned it off. I don't know why.
Can you turn mine off? I don't give a shit.
No, it was more that Morsigo was making a statement that was absolutely hilarious. She said that that Meow was wearing a pearl necklace, and she went hee hee.
Oh.
As Mad'em Crissy is giving this long and detailed thing, of course, in the chat room there.
Thank you.
Well, I'm so grateful for the diversion. Thanks.
No, they're actually.
When I'm hanging myself, someone have a rope.
No, they're commenting on some of the things that you're saying, but most of all, it seems as if actually paying attention, which is kind of nice. I know that Master Lindsay, when he called, said that there's a lot of information on the show, and I think that the community probably thanks you guys for doing this, because it is a topic that is not really discussed very much within the community.
Well, it's also kind of hazy because everybody has so many different opinions and thoughts, and so it's kind of just putting it all out there,
But that's what we're here for. We're here to inform. So, Meow, what do you think there's a difference between a dominant and a master?
Me and Boogie have actually talked about it, so we kind of share the same views. So you're very eeger. You seem.
I'm eager.
Like talking about it.
I'm waiting for yours.
Pass it over to Boogie.
I don't have to pee.
Well, it's 2 for Boogie and 1 for...
I got a big goddamn mouth, and I tend to ramble.
No, because you know what? When he told me that he was just actively starting in July, you said, I went to his house, and he has a bunch of toys all over, and I'm like, you made all these in 6 months? Like...
I'm eager.
No, you know what,
Obsessed
though? Boogie really knows, in my opinion, knows what he's talking about. If somebody is new, you are all about not hurrying, taking it slow, learning, and stuff like that. So since he has done that, he knows a lot. So, and things that he says make sense. So, his perspective of learning different things, like as we are talking right now, when you talk to other people, it's kind of like, well, I don't really know how I feel about that. How do you feel? Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, that is how I feel. So talking to people is just like amazing. That's why House of Cain is really cool now because, like I said, we're not so focused on play. It's, talking about play and why we're there and, what we're doing. And
we had great conversations last night.
Yeah, that was pretty
awesome.
Yeah, Mad'em Crissy.
Well, I think one of the other things.
I think the grunting and the screaming were.
What did I say to you? Yes, ma'am. That was me.
We couldn't find where the grunting and screaming was coming from. She's like,
I was testing the acoustics. We already had this conversation.
Anyway, moving along.
I somehow feel left out.
I think
you definitely had to be there. I suppose.
I think one of the good things about having newbies continually come into the lifestyle is, as Boogie has done for a lot of people, he brings a lot of questions that people have not thought about in a very long time, that have not been brought up. And it seems as if every new person that comes in brings up these questions, and then everybody starts thinking about them again, and they go, okay, so it keeps these very complex and very important ideas very close to the surface in our minds, which is so very important, especially in dabbling in all of the type of harmful play that we actually do.
Yep. Well, you can't forget where you come from, I think, in any situation, so I guess it's a good thing. Yeah.
So your definition, Boogie?
An actual definition. The one thing I've learned about BDSM, which is actually...
There are no definitions.
There are no fucking definitions.
No, there really isn't.
Vague is the answer for everything. I believe... I actually heard through the grapevine that Cain had a comment that you can't be a master if you don't have any slaves. So, which I thought was funny because that's partially true. It really depends on what your orientation is about. Am I 24/7? Is this what I do from the time I get up? Am I in a BDSM relationship? These are the types of things. If it's just during play, then a dominant, the difference between a dominant and top is like you said. A top is somebody who you guys agree that I'm going to be the top. It's not a lot of mind control. It's not a lot of DS. It's just more play. Whereas a dominant in play is going to take more control, is going to address more of the mental and psychological issues during the play.
I think a top can do that too, though.
Yeah. Well, then once again,
because it doesn't mean they're not your dominant. Right. You can say like, okay, see, this is like, okay, a top.
This is the vague.
They top. They're the.
Well, what I'm going to say is this: is that my opinion of between a dominant and a master is this. I think that we are wired, a lot of us are wired dominant. I think that we come into this community and we are dominant. Sure. We are dominant in play. We are dominant in our action. But I think that it is the person that really becomes aware of everything that they do as far as the BDSM lifestyle or the DS relationships are. They have mastered themselves. They have mastered that quality about themselves where they have the ability to be responsible for other people. And I think that takes time. It takes learning. It is not something that is achieved overnight. And as a new person that comes into the lifestyle and they call themselves masters, I think they hope to become master of themselves. And that's really, I think, firmly believe. That's my opinion of what a master is.
So is that too... See, but that's funny that you say that because that's completely accurate. But that's being a master...
That's almost
and
like,
then being a master, like a master,
like
would
a
be,
Sifu or
like somebody who has evolved to a level of awareness master.
Yeah.
And then there is the person that takes on the role of master, where I am in control of my slave.
Well, here's a question for you guys. As a new person, when you came into the lifestyle, how did you choose what role you wanted to take? Did you try top? Did you try bottom? I mean, why, think about this as...
I think that a lot of people come into this because the classes that I teach, and we talk about this. When I have people come into my class, I ask them to identify themselves. And I don't like putting labels on people. and I express the fact I'm not putting a label on you because you may change. I came in as a submissive, and I was not suited for a submissive, not at all.
I don't see that.
No, but because I'm nurturing, because it's misinformation. If you're nurturing, you assume that you're going to be a submissive because you want to take care of people. And I was wrong. And each one of us come in on this journey really not knowing exactly where we want to be. I mean, not all of us, some of us do. Some, they come in as a dominant, they'll always stay a dominant. And there are some that come in as a submissive, will try being a switch, then we'll get into dom, and then go back into being a submissive. It is just your private journey. Boogie, you want to say something?
Well, I'm just curious if you, I mean, this is more for Meow and Mad'em Crissy. Do you ever think that where you are now as a switch and as a submissive is maybe due to your life circumstances? Or do you think that will ever change?
Why don't we take that question and we'll come back on the break and we'll write it down and we'll make sure that we have that question answered. We're going to take a break right now. You've been watching the Rev Mel Show on TalkingSexRadio.com. And we'll be right back. It's where real people talk about real sex with real kinky situations.
Thank God, because my balls are itching like mad. Oh, yes.